Hello, and welcome to our Bio 110 Cell Biology class. My name is Brandis Hubbard, and I'm going to be walking you through our Canvas website. So if you are familiar with Canvas, some of this will be some review, but a lot of it is going to be based on our specific class and how we are going to use Canvas throughout our class this semester. So this is our home site here, the home page. Over here, this is just general Canvas, so you likely have a photo here with the account here, your name. Here's the dashboard. If you click on that, then you're going to have panels of the classes that you're taking, the ones that have a Canvas website made for them. Here we are in courses. We've chosen our Bio 110 Cell Biology Basics course. The calendar, actually that has all of your courses, assignments, and things, if they have due dates loaded up in there, so you can look at that overall. And then the inbox, which I'm going to talk a bit more about as we're working through this, but this is where I request that you email me through. This is an inbox just like any other inbox, Gmail, Yahoo, whatever else is being used out there. So you can use that, you can compose an email. The nice thing about using the inbox within Canvas is one, that you don't have to have my email address memorized or on a piece of paper somewhere that you can find. You just go to our class and then it drops down in there and you can just choose my name. Secondly, Canvas keeps a record of all of the emails back and forth. So it's very easy to just click on a student's name and then we can see the communications we've had. So we can go back to any emails and take a look at them if needed, check any attachments and things like that. So I do have a video going over the syllabus. You do need to watch that for this first week for the introduction to the course. In there I describe using Canvas, using the inbox in Canvas and email in Canvas. It will go to my SC4 email and I will get that to my phone. So rather than going from your own SC4 email and then typing in my email address to send it to me, I request that you use the inbox here in Canvas to communicate through so that we have a record of it that is nice and clean. So then here we are. This is winter 2019 and we're on the home page here. This is our navigation that's specific to our course. As you can see here, this is our home page, our welcome. So I say hello and welcome to our Bio 110 class. Again, my name is Brandis Hubbard. I will be assisting in your learning of cell biology during these next 16 weeks. The video that I'm going to have a link here to is the video that you're watching right now. So you probably clicked on the video that will be right there. So make sure that you have read that. I also suggest clicking around the Canvas site, familiarizing yourself, just kind of clicking around and getting used to it. And I look forward to a great semester, and I do. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the things here. We'll take a look at the to-do over here, but not until after we've taken a look at the navigation here. So if we go to the next tab here on our navigation on the left-hand side here, you can see our announcements. I will post announcements throughout the semester, so it is important that you pay attention to announcements. That said, there are going to be some required subscriptions and some required notifications that you sign up for, which we'll talk about in a moment. And this is one of them, the announcements, making sure that you get announcements to your email as soon as they are made. That's important because if you do not actually set that up in Canvas specifically, you will not get notifications of announcements. Then you would have to go into our Canvas course here, click on announcements to see the announcements. Announcements are things that are urgent, so it's important that you get those to your email or to your text or both. So I have put in an announcement here just to have it as a placeholder, just a welcome. Hello and welcome again. And I look forward to a class. This is closed to comments just because there's no need to comment on here. But it has unread. If I go back to announcements either up here or over here, you can see that that dot that was here before is no longer here, and that's because I have read it now. So when I am posting announcements throughout the class, then those announcements will end up being listed here. Alright, the next tab here are discussion boards. I do have, as you can see, 3 discussion boards already set up here. The one pinned discussion board is our general questions and discussion thread. If you click on that, you can see a description of it. So it says feel free to post any questions you may have about the course throughout the semester to receive feedback from myself and other students. So as you are working on homework assignments, as you're working on study skills, as you're working on quizzes, whatever the case may be, if you come across something and you have a question about it, you look it up, you're just not sure, and you'd like to get some feedback from not only myself but from other students, you can post that question here, and then we can all make sure that we can see it and we can comment on it. One of those things that when we look at the modules tab and it says required subscriptions and notifications, what you'll be doing is you'll be subscribing right here to the general discussions thread. And so once you're subscribed, you will be notified of any new comments, and you can check and change those notifications, and I'll show you that later, as to how you receive them, whether it's just via email or via email and text, depending on your what you desire. So here's our general questions discussion thread, so that this would be like a place where if you were in an actual physical classroom, you would raise your hand to ask a question. That way all the other students hear it, because it's likely something that other students are thinking about or have questions about, and then that way I can answer it, and then I also suggest other students answer it. So you can post something like, hey, is anybody else feeling this way about this thing? Like, I'm trying to determine this and I don't understand this. Anybody else thinking that? And then other students can chime in and give feedback as well. So this is a place where I would hope it would be more of a group discussion with students. You can answer each other's questions, and then I can chime in if there are any gaps or anything else that I can answer. So please do use it, though it's not required. So I'll go back to the discussion boards here. That one stays pinned at the top. Then I have two more discussion boards here. So one down here, this helpful resources discussion thread. I say feel free to post any resources you find helpful for this course here, and then let's share our great findings. So as you guys are working through the semester, some of these things you'll need to be looking up and researching information, and as you do that, I find it helpful to where we can share these things. So hopefully we would do this in an actual physical classroom where you say, hey, there's this great YouTube that I found that described this so well, and it had great animation, and I really enjoyed it. And I would ask that you post that here so that other students can enjoy that as well and can hopefully learn from it. Or a great website, or a great textbook, or a great TV show or movie, something that's related to these things. That way it can be available for all the students, and then everybody gets to benefit from it. Again, another thing that we will be subscribing to. The last discussion board that I have posted is the My Mistake discussion board. This one is an extra credit forum, open all semester, and the purpose of this forum is to report errors that you find in the course materials. So as soon as you find something that seems to be an error, please post it here along with a screenshot if you can. And then as soon as I'm able, I'll look into it and make any adjustments if needed. And then I'll post those adjustments here so that other people can reference that. I do recommend adding notifications for this discussion and or checking here pretty regularly to see if there are any changes that have been made, especially prior to an exam. Also, any errors that are reported here will receive extra credit at the end of the term. So this is so that I can make sure that everybody has the most up-to-date and correct information. So if there's an error found, please post it here. I'll check into it, see if it's really an error, and then I can adjust that if needed. Otherwise, I can just say that's true, that's an error, so everybody keep an eye out for that. So please do use this if you find an error so that I can make those adjustments, and then you can get some extra credit at the end of the semester. So that summarizes our discussion threads here, and so as you perhaps have noticed, none of these are required, but they are here, and I hope that they are used when and if they are needed, so please do that. I found students in the past in online classes have really given a lot of feedback. So when one student asks a question, several students have chimed in and answered and given links to things and websites and things like that. So I suggest that. The next tab over here in our navigation is modules. I'm going to come back to that because that's where we're going to spend the bulk of our time. And I'm just going to skip ahead really quick to grades here. So this is where you will see your grades throughout the entire semester. So as I'm going through, as you're submitting things and I'm going through and grading things, the grades will show up as soon as I have graded it. You can see here you can arrange your grades, assignment group, due date, module, title. and apply that. What I have here that is up so far, we will see in the modules here, and it gives it by due date. And that's because, of course, I have it chosen up here to arrange by due date. It also tells you what score you have earned out of the total possible points. So if we go through here, what I have posted that's available to you so far are all of these assignments, and then down here you will have a running total. So it'll show you how many points you have out of how many points, and then that will show you your actual letter grade as well. So you can always be keeping track of your grade, and I do recommend that after something has been graded, you'll get a notification of that you go in, you check the work, you make sure that it's correct, and then if it's not, you can contact me so that I can take a look and we can see if there needs to be some adjustments made. In the syllabus, I go over the time frame required for that. It's a week after a grade has been posted. You need to come to me if you have a discrepancy. So in here, these are all links also. So this is a good location to come if you're not sure if something is due or when something is due, because it has the due dates here. So you can see that we have 2 assignments that are due by January 13th at 11:59 p.m. And then you can just come in here and you can click it here, or more likely you can go to the modules section, and then going to the modules section, it has it all in a very neat, clean order. And the reason I say that is because although this is arranged by due date, they can be a little bit out of order, as in you would likely do the chemistry lecture notes portion or assignment first, then you would take the quiz based on that, but for whatever reason they haven't flip-flopped. Same thing here, the basic chemistry exam is all the way up here, but hopefully you would be doing these assignments first and then taking the exam, which should be all the way down here. Either way, you can see them, they're still arranged by due date here, and then you can go in and you can easily see what you've completed, if you have received a score for it, and then what the score is out of how many. The People tab here in the navigation will allow you to access other people. You can email them without actually having their email, without them having your email. And then you can also email several students at a time from the class. You can see the different students, see who's in the class, and see their profiles. So maybe not much use for this except that you can email students. That said, if you go to the inbox and pick the drop down for a class, all of the students' emails are there also. So I left it available there so that you could go in and you could maybe decide to make some study groups or contact each other that way. So the last part of our navigation are the modules, or is the module tab here. So let's go to the modules. This is where the bulk of the information is going to be. All of the assignments will be posted here, exams, etc. So as of right now, we have these modules. So we have our general course information module, our basic chemistry unit module, our basic chemistry unit study guide, and then our basic chemistry exam. So right now I have our first unit available. After you watch, or if you've already watched the syllabus video, then you'll know that we have it. Our course is broken down into 5 full units and a partial 6th unit, and then we have a cumulative final exam. So each unit is a chunk of information with an exam at the end of it, and then at the end of the semester we have a cumulative final. So I have the first unit available, which is basic chemistry, and then we have our general course information. So we're going to start at our general course information module. So these are all of the pages within our general course information module. We'll start at the beginning here. So let's watch this first class introduction video. So I didn't remove this from the summer one, but again, this is going to be where this video that you're watching right now is located. So maybe you clicked here to watch it right now and you know exactly where this is. But so if you didn't already watch it on the home page, please watch it now, and you're watching it, of course. It'll be helpful in navigating the Canvas course. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. So our correct link will be in this one when you watch this. So this is our first page in that particular module. Now, in order to get to the next one, if we want to go to the next page in the module, we can click next here, and it shows us what that's going to be, course syllabus. Or what we can do is we can just click back on modules again, and it's going to give us all the modules, and we can see them listed here. So I will now click on Course Syllabus. So here it says please take the time to read through the entire syllabus and watch this video where I go over the syllabus. You need to do that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them on the general questions discussion board, or contact me via text on the Remind app or via email in Canvas. So here is the link to the syllabus video that you need to watch during this first week. I go through the syllabus just like we would in an in-person classroom. I talk about the grading system, I talk about the schedule, what's required and when. It's important that you watch that so you know exactly what to expect out of the course. Please do email me or text me if you have any questions regarding any of those items after you've watched both this video as well as the syllabus video. And then, of course, right here I have it as a document and as a PDF document, a Word document and a PDF document. I do try to post everything in both a Word document as well as a PDF document. So if you do have Microsoft Office or Microsoft Word, which you actually all do through your OneDrive, but if you do have that on your home computer, you can open it up as a .doc. It should open up just fine and is editable and things. Oftentimes what happens though is documents get a little bit messed up here when you download them and open them up, particularly if you're looking at them on a different device, not on a computer, so on a phone or a tablet, for example. And so I do provide the PDF documents as much as possible, perhaps all of them, so that you can open up the PDF. And if you do that, then things don't get moved around. So paragraphs won't be cut in half in the middle of them, for example, or images won't be placed over words or things like that, which can happen when you open up a Word document in something that's not formatted for it. So this is our course syllabus. Make sure that you watch this. I'm going to click next here so we can go to see the next page. So next we have our required notifications and subscriptions in Canvas. This is what I was talking about in regards to our discussion boards. But there are some other notifications. So these are things that are required that you do that are called notifications within Canvas. So you must set up the following notification settings in Canvas. These notifications will alert you either via email or text, depending on how you set it up, to important information in our classroom. And these are the instructions right here in order to set up these specific notifications. So you'll log into Canvas, which you've done because you've clicked on this link. You'll verify your contact methods by going to the account. So you'll click on account over here, and then you'll get a drop down here. You'll get a list, and you click on settings. Then you can look under ways to contact, and then you can add any email addresses or phone numbers for texting that you would like to use. Then you'll choose notifications, which is also found under account. And then these are our two required notifications. So next to announcement, you want to click the check mark to receive them under your desired contact choice, so either text or email or both. And then next to submission comment. What this will do then is for these two, every time an announcement is posted, again that's a more urgent matter or a reminder, you will get that notification, so either via text or email, so you'll know what's happening in the class. And then the submissions comment is that anytime I type in a comment for grading, you will get a notification that I have graded an assignment, that I've typed in words in regards to grading an assignment. So both of these are required. You may also voluntarily elect any of the other notifications that you want. So feel free to add other notifications that might be important for you, but only the announcement and submission comment notifications are required. And then we have subscriptions in Canvas. So you must subscribe to both the general questions and discussion thread and the helpful resources discussion thread. So this is where I already showed you when we went to our discussion boards, and then I clicked on subscribe and it turned green. And it describes how to do that here. So you'll log on, go to discussions, go to the thread, choose subscribe, and then it'll turn green, just like we saw, say subscribed, and then you'll receive alerts when anything is posted. And then you want to repeat it for the helpful resources discussion thread. And I also suggest repeating it for the My Mistakes. That way you are notified of anything that is perhaps incorrect and you can adjust your work accordingly. But that's not required. These two are required. Alright, so I'm going to click on modules. So we just finished required notifications and subscriptions. I just want to show you because I clicked next, going from the syllabus to here. So we are this far into the general course information. Now we're going to talk about accessing the optional text. So when you watch the syllabus video, or when you did watch the syllabus video, I talked about how there actually is not a required text for the course, but I do provide you with a link here to the optional text. So here is a link, it's also in the syllabus, to access the OpenStax text, which is free. It's a free online textbook. You can click this, or you can download it, so you can read the text online, or you can download a PDF of the text so you have it on your device. You can also download it to iBooks or to Kindle if that is preferred for you. This is an optional text, meaning I don't reference the text. You don't have to do readings from this text. All it's there for is that if you feel like you need more information than I provide in the lectures, then this is a good option. Of course, there's a whole internet out there, and you can find some really good stuff there as well. But this is a good text that follows along with a lot of what we're doing. Alright, so accessing the optional text. Next, the Remind app instructions. So you need to download the free Remind app. Here's a link to that. You can download it on your phone, your tablet, or you can also have it on the computer without the specific app, but it's still a program. So I discussed this also in the syllabus video, but Remind is a text messaging application. So what this does is it makes it so that you can utilize Remind to text message me. So as you are working on something and you have a quick question, you don't want to open up your computer maybe and compose an entire email and then send it along and then wait for my reply. If you just quickly use this Remind app and text it to me, then I can quickly text you back if I'm available. The reason we're using the Remind app is because what's really nice about this app is that it keeps your personal information private, and it keeps my personal information private. So it goes to my personal cell phone, but you don't have that number, it goes to your personal cell phone, and I don't have your number. But we can still text message back and forth through Messenger, and it's a quick communication. So I will in general be able to answer questions more quickly via Remind because it's a quick text message. However, keep in mind that there will be times when I'm not available, of course. So there is an easy setup for smartphones. So once you download the Remind app, if you just go to your regular Messenger or messages, you can send a text to this number. This would be the phone number you would put in. And then what you will text is this message. So these would be the words that you would be typing to somebody. So then click send, and once you do that, you will be enrolled in our Remind app class. The benefits to that are that I can send out a message to everybody in the Remind app class if there's some urgent matter, if I don't post it as an announcement, or if I feel like it's urgent enough to do both. And then of course you can just text message back and forth. One also really nice thing is that you can text message with other students in the class. So, and in the same way, they don't have your personal information and you don't have theirs. So you can still text back and forth and work out questions and things like that without sharing personal information if you don't want to. So you are required to sign up for that. Then the next tab we have is discussing how to submit lecture notes on Canvas. So again, in the syllabus, we go over what exactly is required as far as assignments and points are concerned. One of the things that is required throughout the semester is that each week you will be watching lectures and taking notes on those lectures. After you're done taking notes, you're going to submit those notes online so that I can grade them. And that shows me that you've watched the lectures and you've taken notes and you've kind of assimilated some of that information. So what you will do is take notes as you go. You'll be watching the lectures. You can take notes as you're watching them. Your notes should include important terms and their definitions. Also, make sure you take meaningful quality notes. So quality over quantity. I will be grading based on quantity also, meaning that you need to have covered the entire lecture or lectures in your notes. So single word, bullet pointed documents are not going to be beneficial. It's something, what I'm looking for is that it is a completed note-taking process, meaning if you were in the class and I was giving a lecture, These are the notes you would take so that you could take them with you when you go home and study, because you wouldn't have my lecture available when you go home. So it's important that you take that with that level of understanding in mind. Now, in order to earn credit for your notes, you can do either of the following. Okay, so 1, you can handwrite your notes, or 2, you can type your notes. So if you decide to handwrite your notes, which most people do, what you will do is you'll have your paper taking notes as you're watching the lectures, and then when you are done taking your notes and watching the lectures, you can take photos of the notes. You will take photos of the notes, and then you can compile them into one document. One document is key. I will only accept notes in one single document, and those documents need to be a Word document, meaning Microsoft Word or Google Documents, or a PDF document. So you will take photos of your notes and you can compile them into one document. So you can do this either using the Genius app, which I'll talk about in a moment, Genius Scan app, or a document program like Microsoft Word or Google Documents. You can insert those photos into a Word document and then submit that Word document. And then you'll upload them to Canvas. So that's if you handwrite your notes. If you type your notes, of course, then you can just upload the file to Canvas. So if you do better with note-taking on the computer and you want to type them up, then that's fine. You can just submit the file. And when you submit the file, when you submit any file on Canvas, you will go into the assignment, and then you'll click on Submit, and it'll bring up the option, a drop-down, just like you would if you were going to attach something to an email. So it'll be an attachment. You'll choose the drop-down, choose the document where you have it, and then it'll attach it basically to that assignment in Canvas. So it'll be attached, and then you'll click Submit again, and then it'll submit the assignment. So that's for both handwriting your notes or typing up your notes, because if they're typed, you're attaching the file, and if they're handwritten, you will be attaching a file also. So some notes for the first option, the handwriting your notes. So if you are using the Genius Scan app, I highly recommend that you watch the posted video. I created a tutorial video on how to use the free app. It's called Genius Scan. Genius Scan is an app where you can take photos, so you can open up the app Genius Scan, and you can then click to create a batch, and then you can take photos of all of your notes, and then you can submit them directly to Canvas. One of the nice things about the Genius Scan app, I think on Android, if you purchase it, on Apple, I think it just comes with it. What you can do is you can take the file and you can move it directly into the Canvas app. So if you also have this Canvas student app on your phone and you have it signed into your account, in the Genius Scan app you can open it up, you can take pictures of all of your pages for your notes, then you will export that, and then you can click to export it to another app. And you can choose the Canvas app, and then you can choose the assignment and click Send or Submit. Otherwise, if you don't have that, or if you're on Android and don't want to purchase it, which I can see why you wouldn't want to, you can create the file with the Genius Scan app, and then you can save the file to your device, or you can email it to yourself, and then you can use it from there. So you can either then go to the assignment on Canvas on your phone and get the file off of your phone document file and then submit it, or if you email it to yourself, you can open up your email, download the email, or download the document, and then you can go into Canvas and upload the document. So this is the case if you're using the Genius Scan app. If you are going to compile your handwritten notes into a file not using the Genius Scan app, what you would want to do is save the images on your computer. So you can use your phone to take the images, somehow get them to yourself, whether it's plugging your phone in or emailing them to yourself, get the images on your computer, and then compile those images into a single document. You can do it by opening up a Word document or Google document, choose Insert, then choose Picture. You'll select those images and insert them into the document. One thing that's very, very important if you're using either the Genius Scan app or if you're creating it in a Word document that you'll upload is to make sure that your images are legible and upright. So you want to get a close image. It's best if it's just straight down at the page rather than from some sort of side angle from the edge of the table. Also, attempt to get the lighting right so that you can read everything. If it's something that I can't read, then I can't grade it, and then that means you'll get a 0 or a lower score if I can't read it. So make sure that they are legible and make sure that they are upright, so not upside down. Sometimes if we're not paying attention on our phones perhaps, we don't have it facing the correct way, making sure that it's upright, it can take a photo in a different direction. So make sure that your images are legible, make sure that they're upright. I do recommend saving the file as both a Word or Google document and as a PDF, and then attaching the PDF to the Canvas assignment. Again, this is because Word documents sometimes move things around, and saving as a PDF stops things from moving. So, when attaching files to any assignment, all pages must be combined into a single document. I will not accept multiple documents. Particularly, I will not accept images, actual photos attached. So no JPEGs, no PNGs, none of those things need to be or should be attached to the actual assignment. What needs to be submitted is one single document that is a Word or Google document and a PDF or a PDF. So make sure that you double check your file prior to attachment. Make sure that the file opens in the proper orientation, and then make sure everything is legible before you submit it. A little note here, if you've used Canvas before, or even if not, Canvas will not allow you to both attach a document to an assignment and type in the text box. So it'll appear as though Canvas will allow this, but it will delete one of them after you hit submit. So in order to get around that, what you're going to need to do is, if you want to type in the text box, which most times there's absolutely no reason to do that, and most students have not ever done this, but if you choose to for whatever reason, you can type in the text box, and then you can submit the assignment, and then you can go back in, attach the file, and then submit the assignment again. So you can submit an assignment multiple times, and you can change the text in the box or change the file you're attaching. So I recommend doing that. If you need to, for whatever reason, type in the text box. And then down here what I have is I just put a bunch of note-taking emails or web addresses here, URLs. And this is just to help you if you haven't taken notes for a while, if you want to get some ideas on ways to take better notes. There are lots of different strategies here. And then even throughout this semester, what we're going to be doing is addressing some differences in how to approach the material and study for the material, including how to take notes. All right, so the next one that we go to is the tutorial that I had mentioned for the Genius Scan app. So this is to upload lecture notes and your assignments. Okay, so I do recommend that you watch this as many times as you need to, so that when you do submit your notes and you do submit your assignments, that you get it right, so that you get as many points as you possibly can. So this will be for anything that is on paper or printed that you need to submit. So perhaps the study skills will be one of them, perhaps the homework assignment, and then the lecture notes. Of course, that depends. If you utilize your computer more, you take notes on the computer, you complete the other assignments on the computer, then you may not even need to use the Genius Scan app. All right, so rather than going here, we're going to take a look here. So we have gone through and we have talked about each of these items here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tidy this up a little bit, and then what we ended up doing was getting into the second unit, or the second module, which is part of the first unit, the basic chemistry unit. So first, what I have posted are the basic chemistry lectures. We're going to walk through this module and these couple of modules for this unit, and then what you'll see throughout the semester is the same thing that you see here. So it will look very, very similar as you're going through the semester. So here we are, basic chemistry unit. Here is the lectures, or here are the lectures. So here's our header here. This is the link to the page that has the basic chemistry lectures. So it's split up into 4 parts. And then we have our basic chemistry assignments here. And I have it split up by when they're due, or I have them listed as for when they're due. So if we look at the basic chemistry lectures, you can see, so here's part 1, and then here is the lecture video. And the way this works is you can do it one of two ways, or both. But if you click on it here, what this means is it's going to go to an external site, meaning it's going to open up, open up another tab. And then in that tab, it will be YouTube. It'll be a YouTube web page, and then it will automatically start the video that I've posted here. So you can do that if you want to open it up in YouTube separately. If you click this, then this will just get slightly bigger, and then you can watch it actually in Canvas here, and you won't have to go to a YouTube tab. If you do go to a YouTube tab, though, it automatically opens it up for you and starts the video right away. So either way, it's pretty immediate when you click that. And then I will have that available for each of the videos, so parts 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now when we take a look at the chemistry assignments, basic chemistry assignments, if you have the syllabus or if you watch that video, you can see in the very last page we have our tentative schedule on when things are due and what things are due. Also here we have that. We have due dates underneath each of these, so you know exactly when they're due, the number of points that are associated with the assignment, and then whether or not you need to submit that in order to get to the next unit or the next module. So here, if we look, this is an assignment where you're going to upload the basic chemistry lecture notes for part 1. So you'll watch the part 1 video in the first week here. As you're watching that video, you'll take notes based on the video. And then you're going to click here, because this is the assignment where you're going to submit your notes. So here you can see it says submit one single file that contains images of your handwritten lecture notes, or submit a typed document file of your lecture notes. Reminder here, if you're having difficulty with it or figuring out how to submit one file, you can go to our general course information module and watch a YouTube video on the Genius Scan app that I mentioned. So you can see here how this works. It's due by Sunday, 11:59 p.m., how many points, and how you need to accomplish this assignment. So you'll click Submit Assignment, and then down here you can see it's just like adding an attachment to an email. So you can upload the file or choose a file you've already uploaded, but you'll click Choose File. It'll open up your desktop or files. You can pick one, and then you can submit the assignment, or you can add another file and submit the assignment. If you do add another file, though, remember, you're not going to get the points because it should be one single file. So then you'll click Submit Assignment, and it will be submitted. So this is our Basic Chemistry Lecture Notes 1, and this is how you will do every lecture note assignment, is opening that up, attaching the document, and then clicking Submit Assignment. So that is the first thing that you will do for our first unit, is watch the video and then submit your lecture notes. Then the second thing that is due in the first week here is the Basic Chemistry Part 1 quiz. So if I click on that, you can see how a quiz works. It tells you the due date, it tells you how many times you can take it, which is unlimited, the number of points associated with it, how many questions are in the quiz, and then if there's a time limit, which of course for us there's never a time limit. So I'll click on Take the Quiz, and you can see that it has the questions here. It doesn't open them up one at a time. I have them open up all the questions. And then you can see here that I can just start to answer the questions. I didn't even read what the question was, but you can click a drop down here, and then you move on to question 2, pick answers here, question 3, etc. Over here, it shows all of the questions. It shows whether you can check mark on it here if you want to come back to a particular question, and then it'll have it over here. This is particularly helpful if you're taking an exam and you want to skip any questions that might take a little bit longer for you to answer. If you click this over here, then it tabs it over here. So if we click it on the question 4, say we want to come back to that, we go all the way through the assignment or exam, then come back up here, we can see which ones we want to go back to, and we can click on that question to go back there. to submit the quiz because I did not really complete it. Okay, so in the first week then, you have lecture notes for part 1 due and chemistry part 1 quiz. Also, this is very, very important for this first unit. The Study Skills 1 assignment needs to be started early on in the semester because it takes an entire week to complete it, part of it, and then after that entire week you spend time analyzing it. So you actually write down everything you do for a week and block out time frames, and then after that you have to analyze that information, answer questions, and make adjustments. So it is very important that you start the study skills assignment as soon as you possibly can. And then it will be due at the end of the unit here on January 27th. So if you haven't gone through the syllabus yet, this is brief, but I go over it in more detail in the syllabus. So we have our lectures posted here. For due January 13th, you need to make sure you watch the first lecture and submit the notes here, and then complete this part 1 quiz. Remember, quizzes you can take over and over again. So then, the next week, things are due on January 20th. So you'll watch lecture videos 2 and 3 and submit the notes here. Then you'll take the part 2 quiz and the part 3 quiz. Both of those are due January 20th. Then the next week, the 4th part, you will watch the lecture video on the part 4, take notes, submit them here. Then we have a part 4 quiz here that you can take. And then as you have been working through the unit, we have a homework assignment. So you will complete the following assignment and submit it prior to the due date. So you may print it to complete it, and then submit images of the completed work, or you may complete it digitally. So you can print this out and you complete it handwritten, and then take photos of it with the Genius Scan app, for example, or compiling them into a Word document or PDF. And then you will submit the assignment. So the reason that I point out the homework assignment is because it will be available to you from day 1 of the unit, but it's not due until the last day of the unit, meaning the same day that the exam is due is when the study skills is due. Same thing with the homework. So if you're moving through the weeks here, the first week you watch the video, submit the notes, take the quiz, and start working on your study skills, which are posted here. Study Skills 1 assignment. So this takes an entire week to complete it, plus some. So you want to make sure that you start it as soon as possible so you can get it over with and stop learning about it. Alright. And so you can see that here, this is the last one that's due on the 20th. So our 4th section of the notes here is due by January 27th. January 27th, and then the homework for the entire unit is due January 27th. The study skills assignment is due January 27th. And then if you look here, you see these submits next to the assignments and quizzes and things. That means that you must submit something for all of these things in order for the next module to open. You can see that it's locked right now. And a prerequisite, in order to unlock this, you have to complete the basic chemistry unit. So anything that says submit by it must be submitted for you to be able to access this or this. So you'll do your homework, you'll do all of these things, and then once you've worked through the homework, the study skills, taken the lecture notes, then you can open up the study guide, you can use the study guide, and then you can take the exam. So you can see I have a page here saying Bio 110 Basic Chemistry Exam Study Guide, and then here is the actual basic chemistry exam. Alright, so you can see that these things are locked. And then as soon as you submit those items, the basic chemistry items up here that all say submit next to them, then you'll have access to the exam study guide. And then that will also grant you access to the chemistry exam here. So you want to make sure that you submit all of these things that are due by January 27th here, each of these assignments, with plenty of time to access and take the quiz, or the exam rather. So the exam is just like the quizzes up here, except that you cannot retake them over and over again. So you have to make sure that you have plenty of time to take them. They are about 50 minutes each, depending on the number of questions, about 50 to 60 minutes each. Once that's available to you, you can click on that, and then it will give you that information. It will show you that it is a certain amount of time, how many questions there are, when the due date is. And again, it's just like the quizzes, where once you click on it, it'll show you all of this information up here. You click on Take the Quiz, and then you can complete the exam. So again, with quizzes, you can use your notes, you can use your lectures, the internet, you can use your text if you have the optional text. Any of those things you can use on the quizzes. When it comes to the exams, you may not use any of those things. So it's important that you understand that when you take an exam, I can go in and I can see what you are doing on your computer when you're taking an exam. So if you go away from the screen to another screen, open up a browser or something, I can see when you're looking at what questions you're looking at, when you're answering the questions. So it is important that you keep cheating in mind. I go over this in the syllabus video. But if you do that, if you go away from the screen, if you open up other things, if you're utilizing things like text or notes or any of those items, that is cheating. And if that does happen to where I can see that in Canvas, then you will be docked points. You will get a 0 on the assignment. So when we're talking about an exam, that's 100 points out of the semester. So that's a pretty important thing to not be cheating on. So also, I give you a minute or less per question, so that you need to actually know the information, and you likely will not have time to look up all of the questions. So it's important that you do know them. So this is what we have posted so far, and this is the structure of all of the modules as we move throughout the semester. So once this due date comes up, January 27th by 11:59, what I will do is I will then open up the next unit. The next unit is the organic chemistry unit. It will be structured very similarly. So you'll have the organic chemistry lecture parts, and then you'll have the notes where you'll submit your notes. You'll have the quiz, notes, quiz, quiz, notes, quiz, and then you'll have your homework assignment, study skills assignment, and then once you submit those things, you'll have access to the study guide for organic chemistry, and then you'll have access to the exam for organic chemistry. So it's important when you're taking an exam that you give yourself enough time prior to the due time. So in the syllabus, I talk about it, but having technical issues is not an excuse. You have weeks and weeks of these things being available to you. So if you wait until 11:30 at night on January 27th, for example, and then you say, I had a technical issue, my internet went out, things like that, there will not be an excuse for that, because you waited until the last minute and you didn't give yourself time for that to be resolved and then still submit it prior to the due date. So it's important that you understand that we are using technology, and sometimes technology doesn't always work the way we want it to. Sometimes the internet goes out, sometimes there's a storm, sometimes lots of things. So it's important that you take that into consideration and you get these items and you work on these items and you get them taken care of in a timely manner. So that kind of sums up our Canvas introduction. The modules where we're going to spend a lot of information, or a lot of our time rather. It has a lot of information, so keep in mind that we have this general course information tab here with a lot of tutorial type things, and that then we'll just be adding on to this as we move along in the semester. So again, as you can see in the chemistry unit, all of these assignments are structured very nicely. So we have the lecture notes and the quiz, and then the notes, then quizzes, notes, quiz, versus then if we go back to the grades now that we've seen the module, You can see that they're still organized by date, but things are a little bit mixed up here. But you have the first module available to you, and again on January 27th at 11:59, I'm going to open up the next module. So then the next 2 weeks for that module will be available to you, or 3 weeks, I guess, for that one also, will be available to you for you to work through over the course of the next 3 weeks. Over here, we're back to our home page. So you can see this is what it automatically opens to when you click on our Canvas website. Over here now, you can see the to-do. It's saying that this is an assignment you need to do. The little rocket is an assignment. Rather, the little rocket is a quiz, and then the little page is an assignment. Excuse me. So over here, again, in order, you can just figure out what is coming up. You can see the due date, and you can just click here in order to do that assignment or quiz. And it scrolls down, and as you complete them, you can X them out here so that you know exactly what you need to do and exactly what assignments are coming due and when. So again, if you have any questions as you're moving through the Canvas site, as you're looking at the syllabus, as you're trying to understand what we're doing, when it's due, please do not hesitate to write a question on the discussion board, for example. Other students can probably help, or text me or email me if you have questions about any of these things. So again, welcome to our Bio 110 class, and I look forward to a great semester. Feel free to contact me whenever you need to. Alright, so a little postscript here. I realized I forgot to mention that these little things that say submit, I mentioned that you do need to submit something for these in order to be able to access the study guide and be able to access the exam for each unit. What I mean by submit something is that even if you feel like you are unable to complete the assignment, you need to submit a document to it. So that can be a plain blank page. So take a Word document, just call it blank or whatever, and then you need to submit that to the assignment, or you need to open up the quiz and just click submit without answering any of the questions. And that's because all of these things have to be completed and something has to be attached to it. If it's an assignment or the quiz has to be submitted in order for you to access the study guide or the exam. So it's very important that if you get to, for example, January 27th, and you're thinking to yourself, there's no way I'm going to be able to complete this quiz and this homework assignment, for example, you then need to go in and just open up the quiz, submit it with 0 questions answered, for example, although you could probably quickly pick some answers. I don't know why you wouldn't, and then open up the chemistry assignment and submit a blank document to it, just to have something submitted. And then that will open up the study guide for you and then the exam. And you want to make sure that you do that so that you absolutely have access to the exam in enough time to be able to take the exam. So even if you do not choose to do any of these assignments, go in, do all blank things, and then go in and take the exam, because there are no makeup exams, no late assignments. Okay, so make sure you submit something. And then in the syllabus video, or in the syllabus, we go over the fact that you have some free passes. So if it does come down to it and you say, you know what, there's no way I'm going to get this homework assignment done by tonight, 11:59, then you can go in and you can submit a piece of paper, a Word document file that says, you know, the information that you need for your free pass, which you'll also submit to me in an email. Or you can just submit a blank document. Either way, it doesn't matter. And then you'll have access to the exams, so you can make sure that you complete it in the appropriate time frame. All right, so look forward to the semester. Again, let me know if you have any questions.